lava. O le amalu pea ia le ataata na filia le fasa, awa o lea ua lilo vaiali, aiali vaiola i le alofa o le atua. E toi whataalofa atu tato polkalame o le kuka i le mai mua mai o tato atu nu. Ma o le aso o lea o mātou whaatasi ai, ma le alii kuka mai le Ifiele Plantation i le atu a ana. Talofa lava and warm welcome to this week's episode of Kuka, Tastes of Beautiful Samoa. This week we bring you to the exclusive Ifiele Plantation. It's located in the village of Fasito'outa. Set amongst tropical fruit trees with Pacific Ocean views, this place is the perfect place to relax and reinvigorate your senses. The Ifiele Plantation is managed and operated by our lovely hosts, Joan and Paul Lipo, who have traveled the world exclusively but have come home to settle here in Samoa. Their international experience, combined with their passion for Samoa, brings a high-quality hospitality, authentic and unique experience for our travelers. The Ifiele Plantation is a huge advocate of agri-tourism, operating their own farms, as well as dried fruit processing. Their valued-added dry fruit products, such as the pineapple, fa'i, and papaya, or esi, is especially popular at the Samoa Women Association Growers pop-up markets, which operate every Saturday. Today, our guest chef is Chef Paul, who I might add is an APTC alumni. So I'm quite proud and excited to see what he has in store for us. But before that, we're very privileged to have the Australian High Commissioner, Her Excellency Sarah Moriarty, joining us today on our show. So let's go meet with her and have a chat. Ia o leo tato whaatasi ma le komisina sili o Australia le susunga ia Sarah Moriarty. Talofa, Sarah?
Talofa lava, Cherie.
Thank you so much for joining us on our show today.
Oh, thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a privilege to have you here. And of particular note, I'm interested to first know about your experience here in Samoa, because you've been here for a few years, but then I'm hoping that you can provide an overview of some of the ways that the Government of Australia partners with the Government of Samoa and how we provide support, as well as your views on the Australia Pacific Training Coalition and the different initiatives that we're providing here in But
Absolutely.
first off, so tell us a little bit about you and how long you've been serving here in Samoa.
So I've been here for almost 2.5 years. I arrived at the end of February 2018. And yeah, gosh, it's gone by in a flash, I have to say.
A couple of years.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So you would have, in that time, had an opportunity to visit Sava'i, explore some of our tourist sites. Can you tell me about what you think the 3 highlights are from your experience of Samoa, what Samoa has to offer?
3 things that I think are amazing about Samoa are, of course, it's beautiful. Everybody knows that. It's really spectacular. But I think the things that have touched me most are just how accessible it is. Like, it's not an enormous country. It's relatively easy to get around. If you can hire yourself a car, you can get around Upolu. I mean, you wouldn't want to do it in one day, but you could technically, and you can definitely go around Sava'i in that period of time. I really love Sava'i, I have to say. I was over there recently for a long weekend, and just love that trip around where you go to the waterfall, Afua'au, I think is if that's the right way to say it. And then you can do the blowholes. You can go up to the westernmost tip of Sava'i, where it's full of legends and history, and then around to Vaisala, and then across the northern tip and the lava fields and all of that. So I think that's a fantastic trip to do.
Yep.
And then, of course, around Upolu itself, there's also the beautiful Piula caves. There's the Tosua Trench that everybody knows about, Lalumanu and the beach. And I think the third thing that is really important is that it's genuine hospitality here. You're not going to just go to, you can go to a 5-star hotel and sit on the beach and just kind of chillax.
Yep.
But I think there's more opportunities here that nowhere else really offers, is that amazing interaction with the community and the Wha Samoa. You can really get an appreciation of the culture, which is so unique. And I think that's what a lot of people don't really understand so much about Samoa, is that how different it is. And I know Australians are I think we're the second largest tourist group coming to Samoa, but apparently the fastest growing, and hopefully that will you know, when the tourism sector can pick up again, hopefully that will pick up really quickly, and that we can start to, you know, really get a lot more Australians visiting Samoa, because it's got so much to offer.
The Australia Pacific Training Coalition, APTC, is also one of Australia's flagship investments in the Pacific. It's its flagship program in training excellence. I suppose as the country director for APTC, this is something that's also close to my heart, because I get to see firsthand the work that we're trying to enable in country. But this is a unique experience for me, because I get to ask you to share with our viewers what your perspectives are on APTC and how it's changed and how it supports countries like Samoa.
Well, it's interesting, because when I first started working on Pacific issues, that was back in Canberra, back in 2008, so 12 years ago. And that was exactly the time that APTC was under design. I wasn't intimately involved in that program, because I was working on governance issues in the Pacific, not education. But I remember the time and it being seen as being, you know, quite innovative, a little bit controversial.
Yeah.
And I know Prime Minister Tulepa has also mentioned that in some of his speeches, but also said what a strong advocate that he was, you know, in the face of some questioning from other parts of the Pacific. So it was interesting for me, having seen it at its genesis, and then sort of 12 years later, been here, or even 10 years ago, when we launched the third phase of APTC. And it was a great delight to have Julie Bishop here, our former foreign minister, who was visiting Samoa almost exactly 2 years ago, actually. Yep. And she launched the third phase, as you will.
I was there. I was very exciting.
And that was a really great event. And I think, I mean, APTC's gone from strength to strength. Seen initially very much as we know, a sort of a technical college, as it was called, and then this third phase definitely moving into more of a partnerships kind of approach, looking at partnering with the private sector, different things that have come on board and come online since then, such as labour mobility, which was not really a big thing 12 years ago, now very much a part, an integral part of providing employment opportunities for Samoans and other Pacific Islanders to work in Australia.
Thank you for that and your perspective. I guess that reaffirms the value of APTC, and I guess that that focus on partnership in this APTC 3 design that we're implementing now helps enable the partnership we have with the Samoa Tourism Authority, and through this program and this awareness about Farm to Table initiative, we're getting to see firsthand some of the chefs that have come out of APTC and how they're contributing to the tourism and hospitality industry. Today we have Chef Paul, who I was very excited, enthusiastic about finding out that he is also an APTC alumni. So on behalf of Samoa Tourism Authority and our crew from the Kuka show, as well as Samoan government, we'd like to extend our sincere thanks for availing your time and being with us here today to share a bit about how the Government of Australia is working here in Samoa and how we're all partnering together to enable outcomes for Samoa's tourism and hospitality.
Thank you. Right. Thank you very much for inviting me. Whakatai te lava.
Whakatai. Okay, let's go check out Chef Paul. Tana Falava, and welcome to the exciting part of our show. Today we have our guest chef, Chef Paul Lepo of Ifiele Plantation. Talofa, Chef Paul?
Talofa.
Thank you for having us on the show and for cooking for me today and sharing with our viewers. But before we do, we'd love to know a little bit about you and Ifiele Plantation and how it came to be.
Okay. Well, yeah. Welcome to Ifiele Plantation. My wife and I, Joan McFarlane Lepo, came from we were living in Papua New Guinea, and we decided, she's from Melbourne and I'm from Wellington, that we didn't want to spend another winter in either one of those places. And after living in Papua New Guinea for about 8 years, we decided we'd stay in the tropics. So it actually became a nice fit, because my grandfather had secured this land in the 1920s, and my mother, who's from this village, always wanted somebody to come back and settle on the land and do something with the land. So yeah, it was a nice fit for Joan and I, and we were in the tropics, and so we came here. We built. I'm a builder by trade, so I built this place, and it was actually originally a family home, just going to be a family home. We built this place that you're standing in now for my mother. She moved back, and then we turned this place into an accommodation enterprise. Yeah.
So you've come home, you've fulfilled your grandfather and your mother's wishes for somebody to come home, live on the land. You built this beautiful home, and now you're opening it up to tourists to be able to experience 15 acres, beautiful land, beautiful views up here. But I understand you also cook for the guests.
Yeah, I've always had a love of cooking. I think must be some part of the Samoan gene that I was born with. Anyway, used to cook, and then I just felt like I wasn't really providing the guests as much as I could do. And then an opportunity came for me to attend the commercial cookery course at APTC in Apia, and I jumped at it. And I was 60 at the time, and I found it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. APTC, getting formally trained by the wonderful people here, and I must admit, I had some fantastic tutors, and just the whole environment for learning is just great there. What I do find, a lot of the guests that come from overseas, especially, they like to experience Samoan food. Island food, but they like it on their terms. So it's very important that the training that I've received from APTC has allowed me to present Samoan food in a really palatable way for them. We should be proud of the cuisine, the local cuisine that we have, and we must be aware, I think, that we can have a wonderful marriage with other cuisines from around the world. And we've just got this wonderful climate in Samoa that just allows you to grow really fresh things. It's a really chef's dream, I reckon.
Well, I suppose as country director for APTC, it's a point of pride to say we've been a part of your journey.
A big part.
Yeah, and speaking of marriages of cuisines, I understand you have something special in store for us today.
One of probably the most popular dish I make here is Moussaka. And Moussaka is originally a Greek dish, and it's really traditionally done with lamb mince, but you can't get lamb mince, or you can now and again, but not very often here in Samoa. So I use beef mince, and it's 900 grams of mince.
Okay.
With that, a good sized onion, garlic and ginger chopped up finely. Get a hot pan, a little bit of 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So first of all, make sure you cook off your herbs, right, and the onions. So when the onions become clear, then they're ready to go. So then you throw your mince in, and make sure you pat it out, all the lumps out. Cook the mince off brown, and then once it's brown, then you add 1 whole tin or 440 grams of tomatoes. You get a cinnamon stick, which is one of these things here, and you just break it in half like that, and you throw it in the mince as well. This gives it a nice little tang to it, right? And then oregano leaves, and I always like thyme. I make mince pies, and I always put thyme in it because the thyme actually gives it a nice little flavour. And then you just cook it off. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to...
Eggplant or Israelu.
And what I normally do with these, I always peel just this side and this side.
What does that do?
Oh, because sometimes the skin doesn't quite cook off properly. And it just sort of, it just sits and cooks better. Right?
Okay, so it cooks all the way through better?
Cooks all the way, yeah, well, we only got to sear it. So what you need is 5mm slices. As a builder, you can get a ruler now and measure that.
Yeah, 5mm. Yeah, I think 5mm. Okay.
5mm. So this is hot now.
Okay.
This is hot, and all you want to do is just pop them in like this and sear them.
Okay.
Okay? Sear them. and you just, I'm going to get a smallish pan, and you just let them, hopefully that's hot
That's
enough.
it. You just sear them on each side. Ah.
Yeah, each
Okay.
side.
All right.
Sear them, and then you layer them in. It's like a lasagna, right?
Okay.
You just layer them in here. This is it, just cooked
Just seared on
yeah,
each side.
and then you can just get a little bit, organised and shape them the right way.
Was it mise en place?
No.
How do you say it again?
Mise en place.
Mise en place.
But it's not that, it's...
It's just being prepared prior to getting everything done?
So you can feel it with the tongs, it's actually quite soft.
Yep.
You feel it with your tongs, it's hot, the pan's hot. See, it's
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yep.
So you
Do you know
usually-
it's cooked?
Yeah, because it's going to cook off again in the oven.
Yep. Meanwhile, you're still simmering the
I
mince?
think it's just about right. Yeah, that's good.
What does it look like?
Yeah.
So are you cooking off the moisture now?
Yes,
Or
yes,
Yep.
yes. Yep. 'Cause
So you've
as
been
soon as these are
simmering
ready,
for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
On low heat?
I'll just leave it. There is we make a white sauce after this. There is
A white sauce?
yeah, it's a roux really, and so we're going to make it in a minute. But
What are the ingredients?
flour,
Okay.
flour, butter, or fat, some sort of fat. So I'll use butter, and milk, and you just cook it off until it goes nice and creamy. Then you put Parmesan cheese. I like to put parsley in it, just chop up finely parsley, and then just beat it up, and then let it cool a little bit, and throw 2 eggs in it.
I'm looking forward to seeing how you do that. I'm hit and miss with my white sauces because sometimes they go lumpy. So sometimes I don't quite, add the milk at the right time or not doing it right, and it turns up all lumpy.
Yeah, what happens here now, we're just going to layer the mince, put the mince over the top of the eggplant, and see 900 grams fits perfectly in this dish, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Family size.
Well, this will serve 6 comfortably.
Yeah.
6. Yeah. Right. So you just flatten this out.
Yep.
So that you get a nice even thing in the serve.
Yeah. So you've got your flour, so equal part flour to the butter, flour Moussaka, sisir parmesan.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Samoan word for
That's
that is.
50 grams of
50 grams of parmesan, yeah.
So
Milk.
Can you put
How much?
600 grams in there?
Mils?
Milk.
Mils.
Milk.
Okay. All right, so I'm adding 600 mils of milk, measuring it out.
So I've got the butter ready, and this is melting along quite well. See
Okay.
how it's
Yep.
it's not sizzling.
Yep.
You just want it to get nice and okay. You're right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So
now
you don't want it to sizzle.
Oh, you just want it to melt.
Okay.
You don't want it to cook.
Okay.
You're going to cook now.
Okay.
So you can now up the heat a little bit and just leave it on the heat, and then you add your flour down. The important thing is you cook your flour off. You have to cook your flour off. So you just throw the flour in. Just quietly stir the butter. And it doesn't have to be butter. Roux is traditionally fat, any fat. Margarine, dripping, anything. But we use butter because the butter is probably more acceptable to people these days, butter. So what we've done now, as you can see, bro, it's now cooking, and it's starting to be dry. The butter's cooking now. So I'm just trying to see how it's sort of getting it powdery now.
Yep.
That's cooking. That's cooked.
Okay.
That's cooked. So if you grab the milk, please. So yep, and just
I'm
a little
scared.
Bit. Okay, just.
No, but I'll do it.
Okay, just
in the middle.
just a dollop. Yep, that's right.
Dollop.
Keep going. Yep. Right. So now we just want to combine that milk and the flour and butter.
Yep.
Right. See, it's coming good.
Yeah.
Okay, a bit more. Back in the day, I used to just throw it in, and then it's actually better to combine it like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I'm doing wrong.
And then
Now
you
we're
put half of that in there now. Keep going. Yes. Right. Now. Right. Is it good? Yeah. So we'll just let it cook off a little bit until it thickens up.
Do you want me to stir that while you whip the eggs?
Well, you feel it. Just feel it getting a bit thicker.
It is getting a bit thick. It's perfect. I've moved it from the heat because you said maintain the heat.
Right. And
Okay.
just throw that in there and just put it back on the heat and just fold it through.
So just added the Parmesan cheese.
50 grams of Parmesan
And
cheese.
I'm folding it.
Finely grated.
So I'm just folding it in there.
Yes. And just whip the blender.
Okay.
So it's all nice and easy through. Yeah.
All right. How's
That's
that?
great. Look, get a shot of that. That's great. Wow. Right. Now what we do now is we take it off the heat
I'll take it off.
and
the
just
heat.
let it cool down a little bit.
Okay.
And then we add the eggs in. You know, after you whip it.
All right.
Whip
so
it,
we
whip
just
it good.
add the egg. How many? 2 eggs. 2 small eggs.
2 eggs. And whip it. Yep.
Am I doing this right?
You're doing it right. You're doing it great. Let's just say just the white sauce now.
Oh,
And if
okay.
you spread it all over there, it just makes it easier when you do the final leveling.
Yep.
And then,
Well, you're lucky you have your Excellency Sarah Moriarty tasting your moussaka today.
yeah, well, the idea is to get this level so it all cooks the same time.
Yep.
And yeah. Okay, I'll just do this like this. Okay, if you open the oven door.
Sure.
So what we do here, that oven is at 180 degrees Celsius. We throw this in for about 10 minutes until the top browns and she's ready to go.
So you've got the different layers there. Okay, ready? Here we
Yeah.
go.
Okay. And oven tray in the middle.
Not
In
at
the
the
middle
top.
of the oven because that way you get all the heat around it, right? Right. So it's important to just let this sit for a little while so that it just settles. Because if we start cutting it now, it'll just all fall apart. Now a little prayer would go well.
Yep.
Yep, right. So you just want.
What layer?
Yeah. Right, and now we just need a little bit of. Make sure you get that pineapple in.
Yes.
So, you know, there's nothing going to be smart about this, really. It's just to get it on the plate. And you should really, yeah, okay. I don't know, just hope. So all I do is just there, and then just do that, yeah. And she can just take a little bit off that thing. Or you put it in a little bowl.
Yep, on
You
the
see?
side.
This is great with cheese and a real sharp
Lime jam.
Sauvignon Blanc,
Yep.
chilled.
So we've come to our favorite part of the show where we get to taste the dish. So here in front of me, I have the moussaka dish that was prepared by Chef Paul. It's accompanied by coleslaw and this beautiful dollop of chili lime jam. To put his dish to the taste, we have Her Excellency Sarah Moriarty with us. So you want to give it a go?
I can't wait.
Okay, all right. Let's get into it.
All right. I'm really looking forward to trying the pineapple with the coleslaw because I think that's something, you know, a bit different.
I think it's going to be amazing. The pineapple, dried pineapple on its own, it has a lot of flavor in it. So, together with the moussaka dish.
It's a bit of a fusion, isn't it?
Yes, and actually, you know, I did the white sauce with direction from
Yep.
Chef Paul.
Yep.
So I'm going to take credit for this. All right.
Welcome.
We give it
All
a
right,
go.
shall I try?
Yep.
All right. I don't usually put eggs. I always forget to put eggs in the white sauce. So that's good. That was a good tip for me to learn today because I think that helps, you know, keep it firm. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Really good. I can taste cinnamon.
Oh yes,
Yes.
Chef Paul did say that the cinnamon adds that extra.
Yeah.
Good depth of flavour to it.
Yep.
And the eggplant's really nice because it's not oily. It's really nice. I'm going to try a little bit of the salad,
That's
the
yummy.
coleslaw.
It's delicious. I can see myself making this for the kids as well. And on behalf of the Samoa Tourism Authority and the Kuka team crew, we'd like to thank you both first for hosting us, but also sharing this experience with us. It's been an enjoyable day, seeing that while we have local cuisine, we have so much more to offer in terms of other dishes that do draw from local produce. It's so beautiful here at Ifiele Plantation, and I highly encourage people to come and check it out. It's been a wonderful experience. I don't want to leave, but have to get back to work.
No, can we stay for the rest of the day?
Yeah, let's do it. In the meantime, we hope all our viewers enjoyed our show, and we hope you tune in to our next episode of Kuka, Tastes of Beautiful Samoa. I'm Sheree Mona Robinson Moores, Country Director for the Australia Pacific Training Coalition, working in partnership with the Samoa Tourism Authority. Until next time, tō whā soifua.
Tō whā soifua.